Hi, welcome again to my channel. So today I would like to talk about the exponential law for basic principle of mathematics classroom. So without further ado, let's go to the questions. So these are some basic principles in exponential law. The first one is xm to the power of m times x to the power of n equals to x to the power of m plus n. And b is x to the power of m over x to the power of n equals to x to the power of m minus n, and so on and so forth. Let's see this third principle, fourth principle, and the fifth principle. But actually there are so many other principles in exponential law, but we are trying to cover these 5 principles first. And the example of the question is, we're focusing on the question 1, simplify and make it in positive powers. Question 1, 3p fourth times negative q squared times 1 over p fifth over p fourth times q third. And then now we move to the answer of the questions, and this is the questions, and then now we are trying to combine p with p, q with q, so that I move 1 over p fifth into this part so that they get closer. And then it is still the same thing, and the same thing. We move to this part using the second principle, and then we got 3p fourth over p fifth times the same thing, and the same thing. We're focusing on this part. And then now we move to the next part. We make it negative. Remember that x to the power of m over x to the power of n will be equals to x to the power of m minus n. So that we have 3p4 minus 5 times the same thing. And then now we get 4 minus 5 equals to negative 1 here. So that we get this equation. And then using this principle, AB over CD will be equals to A times B over C times D equals to A over C times B over D. And that's why I'm trying to combine P with P and Q with Q. From this part, P negative 1, P fourth, I put it here. Q square and then Q negative 3, I put it here. So that we will have 3P minus 1 minus 4 from the second principle. And then we combine this together, and I changed minus q square into q square, because whatever is in the bracket negative a square will always be equal to a square. So that we move again to this part, we combine q and we combine p. So then we have 3p negative 5, and then q 2 minus 3, 2 minus 3. And then we have 3p negative 5 times q 5. And remember, the question is asking you to make it positive power, so that we have 3q fifth over p fifth, because negative we make it into the bottom and then it becomes positive. And then by simplifying this part, you will get 3q over p to the power of 5. So if you're curious about solving the problem, I will give you some example of the question. And the second question.